Good afternoon once again. This is the English language summary of the daily press briefing of the Center for COVID Situation Administration, or CCSA, for today. So first, I'd like to start off by saying that, of course, it's said that in times of crisis and in times of conflict, it often brings out the worst in people, in humanity. But at the same time, in times of crisis and in times of conflict, it brings out the best in people as well. So therefore, we should continue to work together to fight off this COVID. And of course, today, I'd like to mention first that it is the World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day. And for almost a century, the movement has underlined the universal principles of humanitarianism and human security in times of crisis and in times of conflict, and that all of us should work together. Of course, to a case in point for today is that health is the cornerstone of peace, security, and prosperity. And therefore, we should work together to solve the problems that we have. It's a common enemy, as well as to work to develop solutions, such as in terms of research and development. Today, we also had a special guest at the press briefing, who is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transport. He underlined the importance of social distancing in the various modes of transport, and to reduce and control the level of interprovincial travel. The Department of Land Transportation has suspended services in terms of bus services of around 203 routes of bus services out of some of the 800 bus service routes. At the same time, train services that have been suspended are those that are longer than 300 kilometers. That has also been suspended, and remaining is around 43 train routes. This is, of course, to prevent the mass travel between provinces in order to avoid further infection. Now, for each province, with these limitations of travel in terms of the interprovincial bus and train travel, each province would have the specific information on whether the routes still run or not. You can find more information on the Ministry of Transport hotline number, which is 1356, to check on the travel between each province. At the same time, the Ministry of Transport is working with the service providers to provide better service during this period, and they ask for the understanding and cooperation of all commuters by wearing masks and keeping distance. We have some images of this for you today. And also in May, various airlines will be resuming domestic air services in reduced intervals and capacity as well. So for the various modes of transportation, we have on screen for you on electric trains, BTS. The left is probably the before picture, where we had congestion in the past few days. And when the measures were strictly enforced, more social distancing, that's the picture on the right. So you have the before and the after pictures. Yes, this is another image on a public bus. The left is perhaps before, and then the right is after, to avoid congestion. And on boats as well, travel by boat. So the people getting in line are kind of more distant to each other, which is very good. Yes, so moving on to the general situation and the number of cases that we have. For today, we have a new confirmed case of 8, making the accumulated total of number of persons in Thailand 3,000. The 8 new cases, I have some details on that. The first 3 cases are the result of the government's active case finding measures. All of them are Thai male living in Yala province, who have been in contact with one confirmed case returning from Malaysia, repatriating back from Malaysia. And the other 5 cases are all female migrant workers aged between 19 to 30 years old, who are under quarantine in the government facility in Songkhla province. So out of the 3,000 cumulative number, 92.8, almost 93% now, have recovered or been discharged. And good to report that we have, again, 0 fatalities. The enforcement of curfew, there still remains certain violations, totaling around 683 violations of the curfew. So the authorities have continued to inspect various places around Thailand in terms of the business establishments as well, in terms of the hygienic measures. You see an infographic on screen now of various business locations such as restaurants, supermarkets, retail supermarkets, salons, and the like. And the overall compliance level for the restaurants, supermarkets, parks, golf courses that you see on screen remain good with the site inspection numbers on screen, and the non-compliance number still at a low percentage. You see on screen sports facilities, non-compliance is 1.9%, public parks 1.3%. However, we hope that that will be 0%, non-compliance to be 0%, and receive 100% of compliance from all business establishments and all locations which are allowed to operate now. So moving on to the Thai nationals abroad, we have continued the repatriation of Thai nationals abroad. Of course, as mentioned earlier, 2 clusters of priority. First is the immediate cluster, those who have visas that are expiring, those who are sick and vulnerable, and also the urgent group, including monks and students and those jobless abroad. So on screen today, you have the scheduled repatriation for today, Friday, May the 8th, 2 flights from Egypt and the UAE. These flights arrived this morning, and all passengers have been placed into the state quarantine system. For tomorrow, Saturday, May the 9th, we have four flights, as you see on screen, from Hanoi, Vietnam, from the Netherlands, and 2 flights from Tokyo, Japan. Yes, so to date we have repatriated a number of Thai nationals by air from 31 countries and territories around the world. So we also have a slide in terms of the projection until the end of May, until the end of May, wherein we have around 10 flights in the coming days, around 10 flights in the coming days, and then more flights until the end of May. And we show this to you from time to time on screen just to recap the future plan and expectations. Yes, so on the activities of embassies and consulates abroad, we continue to assist Thai nationals. We have some images here of the Royal Thai Embassy in Pretoria, South Africa, successfully facilitating the return of Thai nationals, 135 to be exact, from South Africa and neighboring countries. As well as the Royal Thai Consulate General in Frankfurt, Germany, for the repatriation flights from countries around Europe for Thais to return home. And also images from the Thai Embassy in Stockholm, where they have provided support to the Thai community in Sweden by arranging a video conference between the Thai community and Thai doctors who provided advice and comfort and counseling, as well as the opportunity to share information on how to take care of themselves, both physically and mentally, while in Sweden during the COVID situation. We have for you today some guidelines on inter-provincial traveling, since we had the Permanent Secretary of Transport giving us a briefing before this. So we have some guidelines for you that travelers should be prepared for domestic travel restrictions. Of course, authorities may implement additional provincial travel restrictions, which may vary from province to province. So on screen we have an infographic showing the basic guidelines for cross-provincial travel. The first is consider canceling or delaying non-essential travel, staying in places in your place have worked to save lives and maintain healthcare. I mean, staying put. But if it is absolutely necessary to travel, please be prepared to provide the valid documents and reason when you go through the checkpoints to pass through each province. Also, secondly, you're required to undergo passing through screening points, including temperature checks before entering various stations, before getting on the available public transport, be it by boat, train, bus, or aircraft. And also reducing physical contact while sitting or standing between people in vehicles, no matter which mode that is, avoiding physical contact and minimizing the spread of the virus. And lastly, of course, wearing the face masks at all time while traveling. And of course, checking information on your destination, which vary from province to province. The spokesperson also received some inquiries just now. The first is about the removal of certain countries from the dangerous infection zones list. Particularly, the question was about China and the Republic of Korea. So that is still being under consideration by the CCSA, as mentioned yesterday in the meeting, after the meeting of the CCSA, wherein the decision has to be approved by the National Committee on Disease Control as well. So not confirmed yet on the removal of certain countries from that list on the part of Thailand. That was a question from the foreign press. Another question was from Thai PBS about the testing, the active case finding testing. So more will be done to test particularly 6 groups of people, which will total around 80,000 persons. And these groups that will be tested further through active case finding are the medical personnel, those in detention centers, those in postal and logistics personnel, post offices, including and migrant labor, those who drive public buses, and those working in the entertainment industries. So these 6 groups will have more testing, expanding the testing pool. Yes, so since we face the challenges of the future, it's kind of uncertain, it's kind of unknown. And as we ease the restrictions and return to normalcy, we have to continue to prevent the increase of infections and continue to join hands to do everything that we can to hold on to our hard-earned recovery, so our efforts will not go to waste. And we have to together pave the way for better, stronger, and a healthier tomorrow. And can I have a slide come up here? You may have seen this, of course, these kinds of messages on the internet. Keep calm and wash your hands, but there's one phrase missing here. Can I have the next slide? Of course, keep calm, wear masks as well, and wash your hands. So thank you very much for your attention. I wish you the best of health, and let's join together to continue in this fight against COVID. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. สวัสดีครับ